Hey folks, welcome and thank you for joining us today. My name is Mario Guerra, the two-time former mayor of the great city of Downey, and I'm here with my co-host, Eric Pierce, the editor of the Downey Patriot. And you're here today talking Downey with Mario
and Eric.
Thank you. We have a distinguished guest with us. We have former mayor and councilwoman Claudia Frometa. So thank you for being here today with us.
Thank you, Mario. Thank you for having me. Mario and Eric, it's a pleasure to be with you here today.
Well, we appreciate having you. There's a lot of things going on in our city. We've been having shows about what's going on with the council locally, good things, and of course all the spiraling things that have been going on. But you've been a constant in our city, and we appreciate you more than you'll ever know. So, Claudia, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got to where you're at today.
Thank you, Mario. Oh, how much time do we have?
Yeah.
I'm an immigrant from Mexico. My family immigrated to the city of Downey in the 80s. I came as a 12-year-old not knowing how to speak English. And I attended local schools, met my husband in high school at Warren, and I've been a resident of this community for over 34 years. I went off to college, got my degree, my bachelor's in communications with mass media concentration. I like to say that in my previous life, I was a journalist and newspaper publisher. And over the last 17 years, I've been in disaster management and disaster response. And the last few years, I have been honored to have been elected by the residents of District 4 in Northeast Downey, council member since 2018.
Right. Well, thank you. And you've been handling the disaster, which is our city council right now, pretty well too. So your background training and so forth. Eric, you want to?
Councilwoman Frometa, thank you for being here, and I appreciate you being accessible to us and to the community. I don't think I've ever called you, and you've never given me a no comment, or you've never not returned messages. So I thank you for that. I do want to ask you, what's your opinion of Downey as a city right now? There's a lot going on. What's your overall opinion of what's happening in Downey right now?
Eric, you do realize that's a loaded question. Having been in this community for over 3 decades and having raised my 4 children in this community, I'm certainly well vested and invested in this city. I have never seen this community be where it is today. And I'm speaking from, of course, a city council member, but also from a city hall perspective. I had the pleasure being a mayor of this city last year to invite many former mayors, in fact 10, to celebrate Downey's 65th anniversary since its incorporation. And in doing that, I was able to meet the men that really impacted this community 2.5 decades ago. And right now, Eric, my heart really aches for this community. We have never experienced the type of destabilization we are experiencing right now with the sudden departure of our city manager, as well as many department heads in our city. This means we have institutional knowledge that has left us, and it is not easy for those of you that are in business or have been in business for any number of years. Reestablishing a culture where there's order and processes in place is not easy. And certainly I'm concerned. I am hopeful, but I am concerned with the current state of affairs in our community.
Yeah. Claudia, as a former mayor too, I can tell you that this is looking back at the history, especially the last 40 years that I've been here in Downey. And this is not directed at an individual, and obviously present company excluded. This is the most dysfunctional city council we've ever had as a group on there. It's just bad. Some of the decisions and the things are happening. Gilbert, like you said, the destabilization, but when so many department heads are looking to leave or have left and are going to be leaving, It's sad for our community. You know, you're right. We lost institutional loss. We lost the trustability. We lost the ethical morality that we had. It's interesting because it's at Gilbert's going away party. We had about 15 other city managers there, and I was talking to several of them. We used to be the looked upon the shining light of the hill, and now it's pretty hard to think a good city manager coming here with, you know, so many different moving parts on there. So I guess my question is to you, you've handled it brilliantly, you've been a guiding light, you treat your council peoples with respect, and you challenge them on their, what are your challenges that you see in the next 6 months, you know, before the election comes up in November?
Thank you, Mario. That's a very good question, and I wish I had all of the answers and right answers. One of the things that I truly believe in is respect and consideration, and I extend that to my council colleagues. As a representative of this city of 114,000 residents, we are now the 10th largest city in Los Angeles County, and LA County has 88 cities. So we are a pretty strong city in terms of population. It is doing the right thing for the right reasons. And how do I see the next 6 months? Well, I often say, or is often said, people get the government they elect. And by consequence, people get the government they deserve. And 2020 was a significant year across the country, across our state. But certainly 2020, the election of 2020, completely changed the course and the story of this city. And when people realize, and I hope that our Downey community is seeing that, that the local elections matter more than any other election, because the same as all disasters are local, everything that we do that impacts us in our neighborhoods, in our home, in our streets, happens at the local level. We are the policymakers, the decision makers when it comes to guiding and pushing that policy forward. And so having individuals that do not understand basic business and economic principles, or simply that do not understand what it takes to be a leader in this city, and the dynamics and what it is we need to do from a perspective of wholeness. You know, we want to move our community forward. I am here as a representative of all. Even though I'm elected by District 4, I represent the entire city of Downey. So how do I see the 6 months? I see the 6 months as critical. Critical for our community members to realize, where are we? What state of affairs is our city hall in our city council? And with one of the council seats vacated and now in an appointment situation, certainly our mayor is running for a state assembly, and it's very likely she will be representing us in Sacramento. That will be another seat. And then we've got, you know, seat 4, my seat, up for re-election as well. So I think the next 6 months are critical. Our community needs to be very aware, and we need to do our due diligence in really vetting the candidates that say are going to represent us, because that is going to then give way to the type of government and the type of city we have in the coming years. With this destabilization, you know, things don't happen overnight. In the same way we lost a lot of key individuals in our community, it's going to be some time before we get that back. But in order to attract solid individuals, we need to have stability in our council. And at this point in time, there's a lot of moving parts. And I think, once again, my biggest plea to our community is to please do your due diligence and vote for the people that are best suited to represent everybody's interests, not just a segment of the population or a sliver of the population, but everybody.
And I know you can't say, I'll let Eric wanted to ask a question. I know you can't say it, but there's another fourth piece there, that there is an active recall happening against Councilwoman Catherine Alvarez She's the one that came up with, had welfare fraud conviction that nobody knew about, a couple of warrants for her arrest before, and is permanently banned from Michael's for shoplifting here in the city of Downey. So for me, she doesn't represent us from what it is. So there is a recall election going on there. They're getting close. I talked to the proponents yesterday, and they're getting close to having all the signatures. So that's another moving part there. So conceivably, you have 4 different elections coming up within our city. And again, it's the stability that needs it. So the good part is that you're running and you're a strong candidate and well-known, well-respected on there. So at least District 4 will be in good hands on this.
Thank you, Mario.
Councilwoman, you mentioned earlier City Manager Gilbert Levis. I know you tried your best to keep him on board. He's gone now. Looking forward, what are you looking for in the next city manager? What kind of qualities? What do you want this next city manager to encompass?
Thank you, Eric. The next city manager is definitely going to have some very big shoes to fill with Gil's departure. But I think what we look for, and I can't speak for the rest of the council, but what I'm looking for is someone that has a high level of integrity, that has conviction, someone that has a proven track record of development, and also the job of a city manager is, again, it's much more complex than just running our city, is being able to be apolitical but politically astute. City managers that choose to lean one way or the other with a certain council member are not good for a community. It's been known of certain city managers in some cities that actually get involved in the political races of certain candidates, and
they contribute even financially out of their own pockets, which is like, wow,
right.
Really?
And so that is key. Someone that is able to bring 5 very different individuals on a council, whether you have 5 or 7 or more, but someone that is skilled enough to understand the complexities in a growing city, or a city that has great opportunities. Because let's face it, folks, people like myself, we will be in office 4 to 8 years, right? Some people just 4 years, perhaps. But your city manager is someone that will provide that constant leadership in your city. City managers, solid city managers, should be around at least a decade. And so all of the development that we saw in Downey over the past several years had a lot to do with Gil. It had a lot to do with our previous council's leadership and direction. But at the same time, that someone needs to understand the region, needs to understand Downey's place within LA County, needs to be able to have that experience, that expertise, be apolitical but politically astute, and have someone with a high degree of ethics and integrity. And I think I'm describing all the qualities that Gil had, and that I know other people will have, but certainly will be a little difficult to find.
Yeah. What's interesting is, the political part of that. I used to do a little litmus test for them, and even new department heads after a while. You always want to know, gossip about other council people, right? So I would ask them kind of on purpose. So I wanted to see how they reacted to what they gave me, the information. Because I always assume, so if they're making fun of ex-council person or giving me inside, bad stuff on there, so what are they doing about me to somebody else? So that was always kind of my litmus test. And the ones that we had, the good ones always passed that, of course. They're always very non-political, but yet, like you said, politically astute. You got to see the landscape to keep moving the city forward.
Right, and I think it's also important. Many council members may have their expertise in other areas, not necessarily community development, and they may come into the council with these grand ideas that will be very costly, that do not make any sense, and so you need a city manager. I don't want a yes man. I want somebody to be able to push back respectfully on us as council members, but to say, this is to really help guide the process forward. And I think that is key to successful cities, having that strong city manager, not a yes man, and not someone that is willing to take a backdoor deal.
Right. Absolutely. No, you're Your turn, Mario.
Oh, well, no, I mean, from my perspective, so tell us about your campaign. I know we need you in office, I can say that. This is a non-political show, but I don't care. I need to know what's the best for our city, so I don't know and I don't care who's running against you. We need your experience, your ability, your proven commodity, and you're a really good person that we want to continue in our city. So tell us about your campaign. Tell us what our listeners and our viewers can help you out with, or any thoughts now going on, because it's starting.
It is starting, and it is here. I am running for re-election, Northeast Downey, District 4. I am passionate about this community, and based on what we've witnessed and what we lived through, not just with the greatest public health emergency in our life, in a life's history, I want to ensure that Downey continues to move forward in the right direction, and I'm committed to this community and to the residents, Mario. My campaign will have an official kickoff. That date is in the works. It will be in the next couple of 3 weeks.
Okay.
And what I really want the residents, again from District 4, and if you're not in District 4, you can still help, and that is continue to not just put on my lawn signs, but certainly talk to those friends and neighbors and family members in District 4. We have a city to save, and we need to have common sense in our council. I believe I've proven that. I have made decisions, sometimes pretty tough ones, because of what I believe is the right thing for our community and for all. And so I think over the next weeks, I will be reaching out for volunteers to work in the campaign, certainly people to canvass the streets, knock on people's doors, and talk about former Mayor Frometa, Councilmember Frometa, who is running for re-election. I have been proven to be a strong leader in this community, and I've listened to my residents, whether it's via Facebook Messenger or email or text or calls. I've been very responsive, and I want to earn your vote once again. And for those of you that did not vote for me last time, I do want to earn your vote this time around. So lawn signs, walking, canvassing, making phone calls. Our city needs strong leadership, unbiased leadership.
You've always been very accessible to everybody too, so we appreciate
Yeah,
it.
and I'll give my opinion. I think if there's one thing that we need here in Downey right now, it's stability. We need experience, and we need council members who will vote in the best interest of the city of Downey. Regardless of politics or any other partisan reasons, we need people to put the city of Downey first. And I think it's also really important for residents to know who they're voting for, and it's important for people like you and me, Mario, to inform people of what's happening in the city. And if it means being a little bit more aggressive in our opinions, I think there's too much at stake right now. And I don't even have a question for you. I just wanted to say that it's so important right now what's happening in City
Well,
County.
we've had the lack of leadership at City Hall, and it shows. We lost a great city manager, a lot of department heads, more and more are coming. There hasn't been the leadership, present company excluded. Claudia's then down there, but she's been a 1-to-4 council.
Right.
So she keeps pushing to do the right thing, and they keep falling down.
Because Mario, and I don't mean to put you, Claudia, you're right in the middle. Who's going to be our mayor?
So,
Who's going to be our mayor next year?
It comes up between Claudia Frometa or Mario Trujillo,
Right.
because God forbid that Catherine Alvarez.
She's mayor pro tem.
She's
now.
mayor pro tem, but it doesn't have to. The mayor pro tem thing, first of all, I think it was silly. Blanca Pacheco blew her vote. She admits it, that she says, the city attorney told her that she needed we needed a mayor pro tem. Well, we did, but you didn't have to do it. Oh, oops. Okay, it's just silly. It's just naive. So she did do that. It hurt her a lot. She didn't get all the votes in Downey that she should have gotten. And it showed us a lack of leadership of what happened there by making her the mayor pro tem. So she becomes the mayor pro tem. it's unconceivable to me that she could be, we're kind of talking.
I know we're talking through.
We're talking through you, okay? But it's
But
unconceivable that
she-
she could be mayor.
I think it's likely that she will be.
No, it's not likely. It's
course.
absolutely not likely. Think about
Mario
it.
Trujillo's going to vote for her.
Okay,
and
and-
Donald
and-
Plant's probably going to vote for her.
Donald Plant won't be in office. You don't understand. No, seriously, he won't be in office. The council reorg is usually done the first week in December when the new people come take over. So you'll have Claudia Frometa, who had just been reelected. You're going to have Mario Trujillo. You're going to have Catherine Alvarez, and you're going to
Sure.
have District 2. Not Donald Plant. He won't be in office.
Right. So whoever replaces him.
So at a worst case, it'll be 2-2. Blanca Pacheco will probably, if she wins, will probably have to be given up her resigning, because the first week in December is when they swear in folks up in Sacramento, okay, for Assemblywoman if she won that. So she'd have to resign before the vote for mayor here in the city of Downey. And you can't vote and have a reorg without the new person in District 2. You can't say you're gonna do that in November, the last week in November while Blanca's still there with Donald LaPlante, when somebody just got elected that's gonna be sworn in into it. You just can't. I mean, they can redo it again, but it's stupid. It'd be unconscionable. So to me, you're only gonna have 4 people on the council when it happens. You're gonna have District 2, whoever that person is. It won't be Donald LaPlante. He's already said he wasn't running unless it's handed to him on there, or something, or a Nazi or something else on there. You got Claudia, and you got Mario Trujillo and Catherine Alvarez. So if Mario Trujillo and Catherine Alvarez vote for Catherine Alvarez, I'm not speaking again. We're looking through you on there, but I would imagine that Claudia Frometa will not be voting for a convicted, criminal on there, and hopefully the person too. That's why it's important for District 2 folks to be informed on who that is and to see what the values of that person represents. So no, it's not a foregone conclusion, and they don't. You just because you have a mayor pro tem, you don't automatically.
No.
That was the thing that always told me is like our charter says you have to vote on this every year. So don't tell me I have to vote on it and assume it's automatic. It's not automatic. You're voting. You can go from not being mayor pro tem to being mayor. It's whatever the council wants, and the council can switch it 2 weeks from now, and then the council if they want 2 weeks later, and then the council they want 2 weeks after that. I mean, it's silly, but I'm making the point that the city council, and that's what's dangerous, on their 3 people can decide the fate of a Gilbert Levis, of an entire city, and so forth. 3.
And that's why it's so important that we elect honest people to the city council who will vote in the best interest of the city.
Yeah. So welcome back now.
Thank you. I'm back.
It was not fun for you too, okay? So yeah, but and that's part of our discussion. We didn't plan on going into that on today, but you brought it up, and it's like I'm so frustrated. It's just so frustrating. Our Downey residents are frustrated. I hear it all the time, and it's like wow. But you know what? We're going to keep pushing forward. Our city got destabilized in a year and a half. One election. We keep talking that whoever they are, have been circling the city for years, trying to break through, and then they got in, and then you would see the results right away. So now we got to take it back. It's worth taking back.
There's hope because
absolutely. We got hope. You got good people like Claudia Frometa.
We don't have any shortage of good people in the city of Downey. And we're going to have openings on the city council.
Yeah.
There's an opportunity to elect really good people on the city council.
Right. So Eric, one thing that Claudia brought up about meeting with the former mayors, okay? And that's one thing, and I've talked about it, I think, and if not, we're going to talk more about it. So the former mayors got, wow, we can't let our city go down like this. So several former mayors, and you have, and everybody, we all agree that our names could be used in this. You have Rick Rodriguez, former Mayor Alex Saab, former Mayor Kirk Kartosian, former Mayor Keith McCarthy, former Mayor Claudia, and former Mayor Mario Guerra, and I left one out.
Roger Brosmer.
And Roger Brosmer, Dr. Brosmer. Oh my God, I knew that. So we've been having these brown bag lunches and basically saying we can't let our city that we are so passionate and work so hard for continue to go like this. And we took our eye off the ball for one election. So now we're all agreed that we're going to talk to the candidates running. They want our endorsement, our finances, our resources, our institutional knowledge, and our strategy, they're going to have to come before the former mayor's PAC, if you will, and then we're going to do it as a group to help good people on there. So that's something that's been in the works. We've now met with 2 or 3 different candidates. We cannot let what's happened here happen again. One election turned our city upside down. So I'm glad to know that the former mayors are care enough to put their time and energy with something they love. So,
Councilwoman, when you ran for city council 4 years ago, you couldn't have imagined what was in store for you, right? This was pre-pandemic, pre-everything else. Like looking back, like can you reflect on what it's been like the past 4 years for you?
I can certainly reflect, Eric. The last 3 years have been the most excruciatingly challenging years of my life. And mind you, I'm a mother of 4. I have a son in grad school, and my youngest is going through high school. And when I look at this community, and when I reflect on why I wanted to serve, I wanted to continue a legacy, the legacy that had been passed down from former mayors, legacy of integrity, and really looking at Downey. If we look at our Downey and we look at what we have in our neighborhoods, now we don't have a perfect city, and I'm not implying our city government has always been perfect, and it is perfect. There's always flaws, and we have to be careful that also one bad apple is not representative of the whole bunch. But overall, what I wanted to do is serve this community. This is where I've raised my children, and I've said it many times before, Eric, that we always have to remember, life is not a dress rehearsal, and as we look at the younger generations, we need to make sure that we are leaving this earth, this place, better than we found it. And again, Downey is home to over 30 service clubs and organizations, and dozens of churches. And when I reflect on these last 2 years, certainly the most painful years for the globe, for all of us. Many of us had family and friends die of COVID. And again, I am grateful, even though those years were painful for all of us, but I am grateful and I'm honored that the residents gave me the opportunity to serve, and thankfully my background in healthcare and emergency management and disaster response was very valuable in helping me navigate a very complex situation. There was tremendous amount of uncertainty. I think we all remember that. March of 2020, our children were sent home temporarily, a couple of weeks, and then they never went back for 2 years, right? One of my daughters began her freshman year in high school, and she didn't come back to school until her junior year. And so that, if you really look at what we've gone through, it's really incomprehensible. Really look at the totality of the experiences. But again, I'm honored, and it was a privilege for me to serve this city in 2020 as vice mayor, our mayor pro tem, and then last year as mayor, because my background, I wanted to be intentional about the way I communicated with the community. I put out a number of news releases, of videos, even in the face of chaos and uncertainty. I wanted to serve this city, and I think what was done in terms of the direction that this city took, navigating through the pandemic, was the right one. Our public services were not cut in any way, shape, or form, and we really put forth a lot of thought and a lot of effort in making sure we had the COVID-19 resources from a housing standpoint to business loans for our businesses, the grants, we put up we served thousands of seniors and thousands of senior meals. We had a COVID-19 information hotline. So all of these things, Eric, going back to your question, certainly I reflect, and I never would have thought that my first term in office would be as challenging, tumultuous. We had civil unrest, the type that we have never seen in our lifespan. And so I think, putting all of that in perspective and into context, and the conversations with families and community members and community leaders, we became a stronger Downey. Hence the hashtag Downey Strong. But it also allowed me the opportunity to really deliver a message of hope, and we're here for you, Downey, and hashtag engaged communities are strong communities. We need to be able to continue to be engaged and not be apathetic of what is happening around us. Life has some very difficult seasons, and in my season of serving, I learned a great deal. We had great support from a city manager that loved this city, and certainly when I started on this council, we had council members that really came together for the sake of our city. And so it's really been my life's really greatest honor, because it was a historic time.
Well, thank you so much on there. I always enjoy getting together with you and everything you do, and God bless you on there. We appreciate it. Any final thoughts, Eric? Any final thoughts?
No, just want to echo what you said. Thank you, Councilwoman, for being here. It's always nice to get elected officials here, because you're speaking directly to residents, and it gives us an opportunity to ask you questions. You're always very open, so thank you for being here.
Thank you. And if I may just add one more thing, I think that it is important for our residents to remember that as council people, we are faced with tough decisions. I think my modus operandus, the way I choose to operate is, again, we agree to disagree without being disagreeable to each other, and know that I will always seek to do what is right for all of our community members, and that I'm called to represent each and every one of you. And I just hope that as we continue to move forward, that our local councils, and whether it's Downey, but other councils, one of the biggest issues we're facing today is extreme polarization in partisan councils, and that is not a good thing. I've said it before. Our streets, our lights, our sewers are not partisan, and we shouldn't be either. We may have our political preference and affiliation, but the moment we get on that dais, we need to remember that politics aside, or partisanship, businesses aside, we are looking to do what is right for you, this community. And again, our streets don't lean one way or the other. Perhaps they might have potholes, and we're fixing those, but we need to remember that. But thank you both.
And congratulations. I know this Saturday, I know that in the South Rancho campus, you're dedicating new soccer fields and new things. That, trust me, I was 8 years on the council, I represented that district, and it was nice. I was asked to do the invocation for it this Saturday, so I will see you there. But
by the time this airs, it was probably already happened.
What's that?
By the time this airs, it probably already passed.
Oh, that's okay.
So you had a great time doing that.
They wouldn't have known that until you just said it on there when the dedication was on there. Anyways, whatever. Today is Monday, and it'll be on time. No, it's not. It's not. Anyways, but I think my point was there's still good things happening, because good people are still, and there's a lot of legacy things still happening. So even
that's a great point, Mario, because sometimes I think we get caught up in what's going on in the city.
Yeah.
Overall, though, just walk around, get outside. It's still a great community, great people, and I still wouldn't want to live anywhere else.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely,
home.
absolutely.
Thank you.
So, folks, thank you for listening. Thank you for being involved. The election of Claudia Frometa is important for you to follow. The election of somebody new in District 2 is going to be very important. The recall election of Catherine Alvarez is very important for all our residents to stay on top. So stay involved, stay in tune, and keep listening. And we'll have some more shows. Let us know what shows you'd like us to see or talk about. We'll be coming to you regularly on a weekly basis. And we keep bringing this up. We're sponsored by Financial Partners Credit Union, one of the oldest ones in Southern California, and one of the best in the state of California, and local Downey Downey Credit Union for 80 years that's now grown into a $2 billion credit union. So I love our friends at Financial Partners. So anyways, with that, I'll say thank you for listening to Talking Downey with Mario
And Eric.